بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم نحمده ونصلي ونسلم على رسوله الكريم أما بعد. We were continuing on with chapter 4, and the first etiquette we learned in this chapter, the manners of visiting, was keeping appointments. And the only reason I'm telling you and you're not telling me is because it's been a few days, inshallah. So tomorrow will be your turn, inshallah. So number one, keeping your appointments is what we discussed in the previous session. In this session, inshallah, we will talk about declining a visit. Now, declining a visit can happen from both ends, either the one who is supposed to come and seek or to the person. And if you can't, we spoke about previously that you should inform the person, the host, at your earliest convenience to let them free up that time for whatever they might possibly want to do. Now, if a person comes to your home uncalled for or uninvited and you can't tend to them, for example, I show up to your house, you show up to my house, uninvited or unaware that you're coming or I'm coming. So in this case, the Prophet ﷺ, or even more so, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran tells us that when a person comes to your house uninvited and you ask them to go back or excuse yourself for not being able to host them for whatever reason they have. It could be a valid reason, it could be a not a valid reason, that's between them and Allah. But it is our responsibility that when we arrive at a person's place and they are not expecting us, or they don't want to receive us, that at that point we turn back and not stand there or just linger around over there. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran tells us that if you were asked to go back, then go back. That makes for greater purity. And it's not appropriate for us to have any sort of ill feeling in our hearts if a person turns its back or closes their door on us. The Prophet ﷺ taught us that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us that is a greater purity, that you not have any sort of ill feeling in your heart because a person wasn't able to tend to you. And asking them to make an excuse or tell us why they can't receive us is also not appropriate. Rather, it is our responsibility that if we arrive somewhere uninvited or unaware of the person is not aware of our coming, then we should give them an excuse that maybe you cannot tend to us right now for whatever reason. Because there are also times that a person cannot or is not comfortable disclosing why they cannot receive us, why they cannot tend to us, why they cannot allow us in. And so it is our responsibility, if we even arrive at a place or at a time or at someone's place, even though we told them previously that we're coming and all of a sudden they forgot, then it is our responsibility to still give them that excuse or benefit of doubt that something might have come up because of which you cannot receive us. And at the same time, we should be very careful to not have any or build any sort of ill feeling in our hearts towards our brother. The great Tabi'i, Qatada ibn Da'imi al-Sadusi, said that do not hang around the door of those who decline to receive your visit. Accept their reason, move on to attend to your business, and let them attend to theirs. So do not go and ask them why you can't receive us, why you can't do this, why you can't do that. And so in reference to the ayah that we translated, there was a muhajirin, one of the muhajir brothers, that he said, all my life I wanted to practice upon this verse, that I show up to someone's place, I knock on their door, they cannot receive me, and so I can go back about to my business. But obviously the sahabi, especially a muhajir sahabi, shows up to any one of our homes, we'll empty the house for him, inshallah, right? So this sahabi was no different, very great in status. He says that all my life I wanted to act upon this hadith or this verse of the Quran, but I could not. I was hoping I would seek permission to visit a brother and he would tell me, go back. I would have gladly left, thus fulfilling the commandment of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But obviously that chance never came for the sahabi. But in our day-to-day lives, especially when we visit one another, there are times where others cannot receive us. Keeping this etiquette in mind, keeping this verse of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in mind, that remember when we are turning back, when we are leaving our, or whoever the brother or sister is, that we are leaving them in following the commandment of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us all tawfiq. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us all acceptance.